Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to color hyper-realistic Afro hair using the Color Therapy app. With a combination of layers using different texture tools, it's easy to create a realistic-looking Afro. If you'd like to follow along, find this image by searching for Afro. Alright, let's start off by using the spray tool. Let's set both the size and opacity at 100. Select black and then make sure coloring inside the lines mode is set to off. And now just color in all the hair. And we're gonna just create a nice fuzzy outline around the edge. Now, lower the size to 50 and the opacity to 30. Now, using white, you're gonna add in little highlights throughout the hair. So I'm kind of just dragging my finger along, making little dots and highlights throughout the hair. I'm also gonna focus more on highlighting the top of the hair. So we can kind of pretend that the light is coming from above. So this just gives it a little bit of dimension. And just lower the size to 30 now and just add some more. So just smaller areas. Now switch over to the flat brush tool. Let's set the size and opacity at 100. Using white, we're gonna just erase some of the areas around the hair. So we're just kind of cleaning up that edge around the hair. So I'm sort of just scribbling it in. You can leave some like chunky areas if you want. And then go under the shades of gray palette, and I'm using the 5th color on the bottom row. With those same settings, I'm just gonna continue to add in just more shadows and highlights into the hair, just adding dimension, just more layers. So I'm sort of just like dotting this in. You can also use the 1st color on the bottom row just to lighten up some of the highlights again if you need to. Now switch over to the smudge tool. And let's do the size at 100 and opacity at 15. Yeah, and just spray it all around the hair again. So we're just adding in more layers, just all throughout, just dotting it in. And I'm using white. And then switch over to black. And you can add in some black around the face and the bottom parts of the hair just for some shadow. Now let's select the thin fur tool. Set the size to 45 and opacity at 10. So this is definitely a good time to use our new stroke opacity option. So I would just lower that down. You can actually just lower it to 0 if you want, and then you can see really well what you're doing. All right, so in the shades of gray palette, I'm using the 1st color on the 2nd row. Now zooming in, you can start to add little hairlines by just making little circles with your finger. This is really where it's gonna just start to come to life. This will be the nice, beautiful details in the hair and that hyper-realistic look. You also want to try out doing really small little circles with your finger. Now let's clean up the edges one more time. So go over to the flat brush tool. We can leave the settings the same with a size and opacity at 100. And with white, just go on and feather those edges even more, just cleaning them up. If you need to raise the opacity a little bit just to see the face shape, then you can do that. And let's add some final details with the pen tool. Set the size to 1 and opacity at 45. Using colors from the shades of gray palette, you can just draw in your own little hairs coming off, and so they can go onto the edges. I'm just doing small little circles with my finger. If you need help with coloring skin tones, make sure to check out my other tutorials. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.